Hey, what's up guys? It's C-Stacks coming at you with yet another opening video. I figured I'd take a quick break from my Gen Con packing to open up the MCU villain set that I got in the mail today. Yes, you heard me right, I will be at Gen Con. I know I mentioned a bunch in previous videos that I wasn't able to make it this year. But we figured what the hell, we just take the $400 that I won at Origins and just put it towards a Gen Con trip. So kind of a last minute decision, but I will be at Gen Con. Anyway, so here we have, finally, the MCU villain set that I got in the mail. This is kind of a bittersweet moment, I guess, because while a lot of people were really, let's say, not super thrilled with the announcement of MCU originally, it ended up being a really cool thing to add to the game. The cards are really fun, and the design has just been absolutely stellar, aside from some iffy artwork, but I really have enjoyed the MCU stuff, and it's come to an end for now. But let's go ahead and take a look at these guys. So it says, calling all villains. This third and final chapter of the Earth, that number, story arc tips the balance of power back towards the bad guys. Build your deck with the, oh gosh, let me have this focus in. Build your deck with the everlasting evil of infamous villains like Thanos and Hela, and bring the MCU heroes to their knees. Awesome. And we have Grandmaster and Hela on the front here. Very cool. So let's open this bad boy up. All right. So a rule sheet in here? Yeah, here we go. Here, I'll just hover over this real quick so you guys can see it. I don't want to spend too much time on this, so you guys can stop and read it if you want. This just explains illustrated and stuff, and then we have some specific explanations on some of the more crazy cards. We have a cool image of our villains there. And a set list. So that's cool. Alright, let's check these bad boys out. So we have Dormammu. This is a card a lot of people were pretty stoked for. I think it's a really cool design. Oh my gosh, this is having trouble focusing today. There we go. So at level 1, he is a 2/5 with flight and 7 wounds. I thought he was a 6-wounder. I didn't realize he was 7. That's correct. That's good. So main for a yellow, remove cards from the top of one enemy deck from the game until you remove a basic location. So finally we have a mill strategy, and then his level up is like all worlds, level up 30 XP. At the end of your turn, Dormammu gains 1 XP for each card that is removed from the game. So you mill your opponent's deck and you gain gain XP equal to the number, essentially. At level 2, he's a 3/8 with flight, and you will spend eternity dying. Main 2 blues, choose a player whose deck has no cards, wound their main character, then wound it again and again as many times as you would like. I love the wording on that. So it's an alt-win condition. So this card is really cool because not only do we finally have a mill strategy, but it's another alt-win condition. I don't think this card is good and is really that playable in a standard format because you only have so many yellows, and then you can't really mill them anymore because there's not really any resource fixing in the MCU. Now, in the Secret Wars format, or the Grandmaster format as some people like to call it, where you can play, it's a combined universe, you can play with illustrated cards with your MCU cards. This card is probably nuts because you can play Iron Man to fix locations, you can play Build a Better Worlds with Spider-Gwen and all that, you can play keys and use another color to pay for it. So I think that card is probably one of the better MCs for the combined format. So we have Ego. He is a flight 4/4 and 6 wounds, so he's friendly. He can't attack at level 1. You can see that he's happy, so he's friendly, and then he gets angry. I have some complaints about the design of this card. Anyway, so after all these years I found, you level up 1. When a supporting character named Star-Lord appears, Ego gains an XP. So that doesn't say that when you play, that like when it appears on your side, it's when either player plays a character named Star-Lord. That's interesting. And then he's angry at level 2. Ego must be in your first attack each turn if able. It can be a team attack. And then soon we will all Soon we will be all there is. So build for a blue. Turn a face-down location in your resource row, face up, and move it to your front row. It is now a 6/6 supporting character named Ego's Expansion with 1 health, villains, and swarm. So that's pretty cool. I don't remember exactly why the 6 is a big thing for Ego. I don't remember in the movie what that means because it's on his supporting character too. But so I just want to point out real quick that Ego is the living planet, and on his cards here we have a smiling Kurt Russell and an angry Kurt Russell, as opposed to that awesome image from the movie of his face on the living planet. But I get it. It's Kurt Russell, and you have to have his face on there. I'm sure it's in his contract somewhere that on any material you got to have him on there. So it's kind of annoying, but pretty cool card. This card's really good, and I actually like the artwork on it. So Hela, she is a 2/5 with range and 6 wounds. You have no idea what's possible. Reaction yellow. When an enemy character gains a +1/+1 counter or equips an equipment, remove all +1/+1 counters from it and KO all equipment on it. That ability is super, super good. This is probably one of the best reaction abilities we've seen. I don't remember what they all are, so I don't want to say that it's the best, but it might be the best reaction ability we've seen. And her level up, my father is dead, as are the princes, level up 6. At the end of your turn, Hela gains 1 XP for each character in enemy KO piles. So that could probably happen pretty quick. I don't know. And then this ability is so fun. By the Eternal Flames, you are reborn. Build green. Put all characters from 1 KO pile onto your side. At the end of your turn, remove those characters from the game. If any of them would leave play, remove them from the game instead. That ability is absolutely crazy. So cool. And we have Thanos, one of the other cards that I've complained a lot about the artwork, but it's okay. It's all good. So he's a 4/3 with 6 wounds. He will bathe the starways with your blood. So in your main phase for a blue, put a -1/-1 counter on each enemy supporting character. And then when Thanos KOs a supporting character, he gains XP equal to its cost. Okay, so it's to its cost. So 6 that's not too bad. And then at level 2, he's a 7/6 with 6 wounds, and you will know what it's like to lose. So main for green, wound each face down enemy main character. Sorry, stumbling over the words there. I've seen people saying that this card's not very good, but I don't know. I mean, I think having this ability on your main character is pretty good. But I like to complain about how on level 1 he's sitting in a chair, and at level 2 he's sitting in a chair at a different angle. But I get that they didn't have access to Infinity War stuff, and I'm sure we'll get a level 3 Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet down the road. But I actually think this card is pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if this saw some play, despite what people think. I forgot that this card's in here. So we have Yellow Jacket. So he's a 1/6 with ranged and 5 wounds. So at level 1, he has Energy Pulse Stinger, a main for a blue, stun an enemy supporting character with 3 attack or less. Okay, so that's pretty good. Well, that ability obviously is going to get worse and worse as the game goes on. I was thinking at first 3 cost or less, and it was basically like a Yondu. But I guess that would have the same problem anyway. So he's the Future of War is his level up condition, so he needs 4 XP. When you recruit a character with 3 attack or less, Yellow Jacket gains an XP. And then he's a 1/10, that's interesting. And it's any turn combat green, Yellow Jacket strikes with 10 times his attack this combat. So if he's just static, he would strike with 10. And if it has 1 +1/+1 counter, he's striking with 20. So this can get out of hand pretty quick, but it kind of has the same problem as Ant-Man main character, where like anytime you want to have any amount of attack, you have to pay a location. And again, there's no resource fixing in the MCU other than Happy Hogan. Happy Hogan, that's what he's called, right? Yeah. So basically, you have to have a green anytime you want him to be able to do anything, and that's kind of a problem. Although he does have 10 defense, so it's a little better than Ant-Man in that way. That's all the main characters, right? Yeah. So let's go into the supporting characters. So we have 1-drop Yellow Jacket supporting character. He's got Shrink 2/1 in range when Yellow Jacket is attacked. Oh, we already know what Shrink does. So that's pretty cool. It's always cool to see the same keywords show up. So Grandmaster is a 2 cost. He's a 0/3. It's main event time. Whenever a main character on your side attacks another main character, put 2 +1/+1 counters on the attacking main character. That's really good. It's like better Berserker. Scourge is a 3/2 with range. Main for a red, put two -1/-1 counters on each of two enemy characters. Sorry, I'm like dyslexic today. That's pretty good. Des and Troy. Here's the best card in the set, and like maybe one of the best cards in the game. This card is unbelievable. Mordo, enemy characters can't use superpowers. He's a 5/4 at 3. I had thought for a while that this card was a 5 cost for some reason, but no, it's a 3 cost. So on turn 3, you can make it so your opponent can't use superpowers. This card's absolutely crazy. Here we go. We got a one-of-a-kind card. This is the only hero card in the set. It's weird. It's odd that there's a hero card, but you'll see why. So she's one-of-a-kind, Mantis is. She's a 0/2 with 1 wound. I help my master sleep. At the start of your main phase, if a main character on your side is named Ego, you may exhaust him. If you do, put 3 +1/+1 counters on him. So that's pretty good. So she's a hero, but she's like Ego's minion. That's cool. We have Ulysses Claw. This is pretty cool artwork, cool action shot. He's got a hand cannon, so combat green. Choose a defender to get -1/-1 this combat for each card in your hand. That's kind of cool. It's always cool to see them incorporate stuff like that. Like, so he's literally got a hand cannon, so it has to do with your hand size. I like the flavor of that. That's cool. Here's another really weird card. So we have Caecilius. He's a 2/2 on 4, so that's not very good, but let's see what he does. So main blue-yellow. Exhaust all resources. They can't ready until after your next turn. An exhausted resource doesn't produce recruit points. So that's... He's got really low stats, but for a blue and a yellow, you can basically make it so your opponent can't recruit anything next turn. I mean, they could recruit like a 1-drop or something. But anyway, that's pretty cool. Kind of expensive, but pretty cool. I don't remember what this card does. So we have Hela, 5-drop, 4/5 with 2 wounds. Each enemy supporting character's base health is 1. So that seems really good, actually. I mean, obviously she's got kind of low stats for her costs, but it's a really strong ability. We have Dormammu, supporting character. He's a 6-drop with flight. He's a 3/3, 2 wounds. The Dark Dimension. When Dormammu appears or recovers, put a +1/+1 counter on him for each face-down resource on your side. That's kind of cool. I could see this in the combined format and being played in, like, Dark Phoenix or something. I mean, probably not. There's better options, but that's kind of cool. Ego, again, he's just Kurt Russell, not a giant planet or anything. Anyway, so 7-cost Ego. He's a 7/7, 2/2 with flight. While Ego is in combat with an enemy character, its attack and defense each can't be higher than 6. For example, if it is a 10/4, it would become a 6/4 during the combat. So that's pretty cool. Again, I don't remember what the significance of 6 is for Ego, but someone can remind me in the comments. And then we have 8-cost Thanos. Dread it, run from it, destiny still arrives. He's at 10/10, 3 wounds. That's all the like the 8-drops in the MCU have 3 wounds. That's insane. At the start of each enemy player's main phase, that player KOs a character on their side. So this is potentially kind of, I don't want to call it an alt win condition because it's the same win condition. You're KOing your opponent's main character, but if they only have their main character, they have to KO it, right? Let me read it again. At the start of each enemy player's main phase, that player KOs a character on their side. Yeah, so it doesn't specify support characters. So if you can get it to where they only have their main character, they lose the game. But yeah, so again, he's just sitting in his chair. I've seen a lot of people saying this card's not very good either. They don't like the MCU Thanos cards, I guess. I think Odin's probably the better card, but if you can like build a strategy around this and like, I mean, I guess it's kind of a win more card in that way, because if you can get to the point where all they have is their main character, you're winning the game anyway. But that's just my thoughts on it. And then the last card is the only plot twist in the set. I thought you would be glad to see me. Combat. Choose a main character in the combat to get +3/+3 this combat. So this card's really, really good. Anyways, so that is the MCU villain set. I'll do one final quick flip through here. So yeah, I was one of the naysayers of the MCU sets at the beginning, but I've actually had a lot of fun with these cards. I think the design is really, really cool, and it's a little sad that this is the last we're going to see of the MCU for at least a while. But it obviously is exciting that the next arc is all Spider-Man themed, especially because we're not getting an MCU Spider-Man because because of licensing reasons. So that's really cool that we're gonna get to see that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope to meet a bunch of you guys at Gen Con and get you to sign my mat and all that. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.